be a new dominance? Is this going to be a new dominance era for your boys Atletico, aka Atleti, aka the Argentine drug dealer named Simeone? That's the whole idea. Or was it just similar to their win in 2014? Just a little bit of an anomaly, man. Let's see. So, Atletico Madrid. I think that, they should have won the league much earlier than they did last season. But I think what has me worried about giving them the tag of they will 100% retain the title is because they were so far ahead and they bottled it. They should have won it way ahead. Like, at least they should have won it with like 4 or 5 games to spare. But the fact that Barcelona took them to like the penultimate game of the season and Real Madrid took them to the last day of the season, with Real and Barcelona having a horrible season, just shows you how the Atletico still have that bottling stuff within them. But they got Depay. I mean, Depay, I think, was one of Argentina's best players at Copa America and was arguably man of the match in their game against Brazil. So Depay, who I think fits the fabric of Atletico with the grittiness, the physicality, but he's also a quality player who can play football and can pick a quality pass. That helps to improve the quality of that midfield that I think can be lacking in its creativity and its tact with Koke and so forth being in there. Cannibal Suarez, how much more can he get from him? Can you still rely upon him to still come clutch and get you those goals? Because there's going to come a point where Suarez begins to decline, where he's no more. Because 100%, peak Cannibal, one of the best strikers of his generation, 100%. But for the past few years, he's a guy who, out of nowhere, he can still get you those goals and those key goals, but he isn't really hitting those 30, 40 goals mark that we saw him, where he hit that mark was called in 2015 and so forth. So for the Cannibal, can Atleti still rely on the guy to say what's up, don't eat any people, and also don't be racist? João Felix, how much is he going to be used? How much is he going to be able to be part of what Simeone wants to do, because you are sitting on a potential powder keg in a player. Now, all because you have talent doesn't mean that you will realize that talent, but you cannot deny that if you understand football and you understand the eye test, that João Felix easily passed the eye test. He gets like an 80-85% to the eye test. But my issue is, how much will he be used? Because my thing is, if they can somehow get the best of Felix in this team and he can be the playmaker of this team, that will take Atletico Madrid into the stratosphere and into a whole new plateau. But the issue is, how will Felix and Simeone meet head to head? That is my issue. Because again, for Atletico, if you're not going to use him, Barca could use him and you could use Griezmann. But look, this is all comes down to your boy Simeone. I was about to say, but forget that. We say Carrasco. I don't know what happened to you at the Euros, but don't bring that brainless football to Atletico Madrid. It's just a side note, but cool. But this is all down to Simeone. I think Simeone is the key ingredients in this team, and I think how they win and their success was because of Simeone's tactics. Now, people may hate it. Shout out to your boy Gatlock, call them attacking virgins. These guys are pragmatic merchants, defensive merchants, and so forth, but they won. But I would just hope that Simeone, of course, you can't, a leopard can't change its spots, a zebra can't change its, marks or whatsoever, a cat can't change its fur. But what I would like for Simeone is, keep that philosophy, but there's nothing wrong with a bit of swag, and there's nothing wrong with bringing in João Felix just to give you a little bit of flair and a little bit of Lara Croft and a bit of a la in your team. The key to life is combination. Combine your philosophy with something a little bit different, because at the end of the day, it's not about winning the way you want to win. It's just about winning. Barcelona. If they had beaten Levante, they could have actually probably won the league, and the league was right there in their hands. And the Barcelona of old would have easily won the league. So it just shows you how far they've fallen. 4-1, 4-0, 8-2, blah, 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 blah. Mbappe gave birth. But, Koeman has had his summer. He's been able to have like a proper summer in which he can help to bring in players, working in preseason, and actually give these guys a bit of an identity that you want to wholly hope for. Messi. Look, man, I think it was huge for Messi getting out Copa America. And I always talk about this in football that, a big major part of football is this. It's the psychology. It's the mentality. It's how you are feeling in a philosophical sense. So I think that what's going to be very important is how Messi comes into this season. And when you just look at how he's been on Instagram and so forth, and just the amount of stuff he's posted on Instagram and how open he's been, there's even a video of this dude actually dancing. So you have this video of him dancing, of him just really showing a lot more than we're actually known for. Just leads us to believe that, look, man, maybe Messi, a happier Messi, a Messi that's much more relieved and maybe a bit much more freer, might actually be an even greater boost to Barcelona, because we've seen Messi play angry his money, but have we actually seen him play truly happy? Because I don't think Messi has ever been happier before in his football career than he's been right now ever since winning that Copa America. But the key thing is he's going to send the contract, because if Barca don't free up funds, they're not going to have Messi till freaking January. And let's be real, Messi is one of the craziest one-man armies we've ever seen in football history. So without Messi for those months to January, that could already be Barca's season. But they got the new boy, Memphis Depay. He's coming to the game. I think you've already seen him get a G in preseason. And, I think he's going to give some Barca something different, because I'm excited to see what he can do. Seeing him play for Netherlands, specifically under Koeman, like in the Nations League and qualifications, he is a quality player. He has a good footballing brain, and there is a bit of flamboyance in him. You can see how flamboyant he is off the pitch. He brings that flamboyance onto the pitch. So where Griezmann has failed, where the Us has been in hospital and so forth, and obviously with Ansu Fati injured, maybe if Depay can come in and if he forms a great partnership with Messi and of course Sergio Aguero, that could greatly have a massive impact on Barcelona's season. But we have to talk about Tweedledee and Tweedledum. That's your boy Longley and Piqué. This for me, I think, is going to determine what Barca do this season or not. Because if they replace Longley and Piqué, I think Barcelona can win some trophies and maybe make some surprises in the Champions League. If they keep Longley and Piqué, these two bricklayer of defenders, Barcelona could end up trophyless yet again. Because what we learn in football is you can score as many goals as you want. There are only so many goals you can score in any given game. But if you keep on conceding, specifically conceding at a high rate, you can have all the Messis and Neymars in the world, you will lose. And the name of the game is to win and not to lose. And the quicker they get rid of Longley and Piqué, the better. So for your boy Koeman, man, look, a lot of Barca fans, specifically with how last season went, they're like, this guy is wrong for the job, he's not so good. And then there was a point in which they're like, get him sacked. Then I think he switched to like a back three, changed how they play, changed the formation, changed the tact, and Barca were looking good. And they looked as if they would actually win the La Liga. But obviously that did happen. And I think what people have to give Koeman is give him this season. It was a crazy situation he was entering into, because he had a Messi who was just in a whole different place psychologically, mentally for the first few months. So right now that he has not only a Messi who, if he signs a contract, is fully committed, but a happier, much more at ease Messi after the Copa America win, he's brought in a player that he knows and he's coached well in a Memphis Depay. You're hoping that he can have Ansu Fati back fully fit. Now, this is a better way to judge Koeman as opposed to how he was before. Real Madrid. I am shocked that these guys allow Ramos and Varane to live in the same window. Ramos, we talk about the great defensive partnerships. You could argue, or you could at the very least put Ramos and Varane in the argument as forming some of the best centre-back pairings that we've ever seen in the game. You can make the argument. But 100%, they might be the best centre-back pairing we've seen in the Champions League. Their medals show you that as evidence. So how will this affect them? Because I think you now look at the introduction of Alaba. Now, the thing about Alaba is that he can play multiple positions. So he can go into DM, go into left back, go into central defense. But I think really he is going to be the defensive replacement alongside Militao. How well will they do? We don't know. But I think, whenever Real Madrid's backs have always been against the wall, whenever people doubt them, they always come back strong. And I think they're the last team that you really want to doubt or really go against. But it's going to be, I am intrigued to see the psychological effect, specifically within the dressing room. It will be of Ramos especially leaving because of the amount of intangibles he brought into the freaking team. Hazard, man, look, Real Madrid have never had Hazard. They've never had this freaking dude. And I think that my hope was like, man, if Real Madrid have that Zad that I saw for Chelsea, it can take this team into the freaking stratosphere. But for some strange reason, we've not had that, and that kind of hazard just has refused to freaking show up. So we hope to see him, and we want to just see what he's able to do and how he's able to affect the freaking game. But that's really down to Hazard and how he works. Because for me, I think he's not been fully fit. If somehow Ancelotti can get a fully fit Hazard and get that Zad, Real are a whole different proposition. But they've never had that. So they didn't have Zad when they won the league 2 seasons ago, and they didn't have Zad when they took Atletico to the last day of the season. Mathematics will say if you inject a Zad, it can really change them. But again, I have my doubts. Woke up semi. But so for Vinicius, man, you see, Vinicius is one of those dudes where, look, he isn't going to be the Rubinho, Ronaldinho, or so forth. I think we already know that. But I think I've always said, there's bad Vini and there's good Vini. When Vinicius is on his game, when he really pops off, he can do his thing. The issue is when Vini is bad, he's real bad. So what Ancelotti will be hoping for is that I want good Vini, and I want to really get the best out of Vinicius for him to be able to say what's up and for him to be able to ride over to that next level. Because if you can get that good Vini, it can greatly help Real Madrid. It is not ideal, but a good Vini who actually makes proper decisions and doesn't get a Benzema hoping that he's playing against them, I think can put Real in a great situation. But yet again, Benzema, always really through to the Benzema, and I think Benzema will have to carry a lot of the weight this season. I think Benzema, even at this age, is playing some of the best football of his entire career. And I think that people have to realize that not only is he one of the best strikers in the world, he's one of the best football players in the world. And I think we were robbed off of seeing an amazing, amazing tournament from him at the Euros based on just how he was revving up and really cooking. So for Ancelotti, I have my views on Ancelotti because I don't know how well he's going to do coming back into the team, based on where he's been. And there's something that doesn't sit well with me because these things don't tend to happen in the sense of, he knows the team, therefore because he knows the team, he will come back and make the team look good and make them look amazing. Nah. It doesn't tend to happen like that. So don't think that he's going to come back and do 2014 all over again because it's a whole different team. He's grown old as a person and does not have the same players, but he's an experienced manager. He has won a UCL with 2 different teams, which is a huge rarity. So if he can draw on that experience and just try to get the best out of this team, maybe do things that Zidane couldn't, maybe perhaps Real Madrid could say a little something now. So for La Liga, it's hard for me to say who's going to win this or who's going to pop off, But what I will say, though, is I have to see what the transfer window looks like at the very end. So I think I'm probably going to do another one on this. I'm going to do another one of these roundup videos, maybe at the end of the transfer window. So once everyone now does all their transfers, I can now see what the teams look like in full. Then I can have a better idea. But as of right now, I think we're going to have a very exciting 3-horse race. I might just edge it to Atletico Madrid. I think Real will struggle. I think it may be a 3-horse race, but focus much more on Atleti and Barcelona, because I do think that Depay is going to do some interesting things with Barca. But at the moment, I may just edge it to Atleti, but don't sleep on Messi, especially a happy, motivated Messi. Now, if Ancelotti can somehow do something with these Real Madrid guys, I think it'll be huge. But it's going to be tricky, man. Peace out, stay true, like, subscribe, more love.